Muy buenas fanáticos de la lucha libre, fanáticos de wrestling, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos sean todos a un nuevo video, una nueva entrevista solo para fanáticos de wrestling y wrestling para todos. Esta es una entrevista muy, pero muy especial porque tenemos de invitado al más grande invitado que hemos tenido hasta ahora en nuestros canales de YouTube, en nuestras páginas. Así que, señor Martín, por favor, haga la presentación como debe ser.
Yeah, my friend here, Paul, said this is the biggest interview we've done until now. This is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, a favorite of mine and Paulo. This is the Olympic hero, multiple-time world champion, Kurt Angle. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. And the first thing I wanted to ask you is that you recently started a company called Physically Fit. Can you tell us a little bit about your company and how this came together, the products that you're selling and all of that?
Yes, I started a company called Physically Fit last year. We have a product called Chicken Snacks and Snack Smart Crispy Protein Bites. They're high protein, low carbohydrate, low fat protein supplements. They come in a bag. There are 11 different flavors, and You can get them at physicallyfit.com. And we also have the Snack Smart Plant Protein, which I don't have with me right now. This product is incredible. We've done incredibly well with sales. This is sweet barbecue, kung po. We have pizza, cheese pizza, a lot of great products.
Pretty cool.
Really proud of this company, and it's doing extremely well.
I'm glad. I wanted to ask you, do you have international shipping for the people who don't live in the United States?
We are going to have distribution eventually in South America. We're working on that right now as we speak.
Perfect.
So it should be happening in the next 4 to 6 months.
Kurt, after winning the Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck, what were your expectations about the future of your career?
What was I going to do after that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what I was going to do. I breaking my neck. I knew I had to retire from amateur wrestling, so I took a sportscasting job for a year in Pittsburgh for Fox, and that didn't work out so well. And I wasn't done being an athlete. I still wanted to do something athletic. So I started watching WWE, and I became intrigued. I fell in love with the Stone Cold Steve Austin character and wanted to do it. So I approached the WWE and told them I was interested. And they said, okay, you can come up and try out. And that's how it happened.
Pretty cool. About your WWE beginnings, how did it feel to reach the top of WWE so quickly, becoming world champion and a main eventer less than a year after your debut?
Well, it was a great feeling. I didn't know I was going to have the success I had so quickly. I only trained for about 8 months before I started on TV. And within 11 months on TV, I became world champion. So it happened so quickly. And I still didn't perfect my craft. I didn't know psychology. I was still working on my moveset. I was struggling, but I was a good follower. I let the wrestlers lead me in the ring. I became a good listener, and eventually that made me a good leader. If you listen, you learn, and that's what I did.
Kurt, you were part of SmackDown Golden Age, along with the SmackDown 6 and guys like Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. How was that moment in your career and working with that talent?
My favorite?
All that run.
What do you think about that run in SmackDown?
What kind of run?
The 2002, 2003, the SmackDown 6 with Chris Benoit, with Edge, Rey Mysterio.
Oh, we loved it. The thing was, SmackDown at the time didn't get a lot of storyline writing. Raw was the favorite show. So we as athletes came together and said, let's make this a wrestling show. And we decided to make it more action, less talk. And it worked extremely well. And that's how we became the SmackDown 6. And we lit it up. We tore it down. It was a lot of fun. And, we didn't have to work on the storylines. We just did the action in the ring, and it worked out extremely well.
Yeah, I agree. The next thing I wanted to ask you is that after your departure from WWE, you went to TNA, where you also had a spectacular career. What are your favorite moments from that run in TNA?
I enjoyed a lot of different things in TNA. I loved working with Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Sting, Bobby Roode, James Storm. There were a lot of great athletes. Eric Young. It was the company had a really good run for several years. We were on fire for a while, and that's a tribute to Dixie Carter and how she was able to recruit former WWE talent and bring them in. We had guys like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, myself, Sting. We had a lot of big stars that came on. So it really helped the product. But I enjoyed working in TNA. Dixie Carter took really good care of me, and I needed that reduced schedule at the time. That's why I left the WWE. I didn't want to work a full-time schedule. So Dixie Carter allowed me to take some time off and not work quite as much as I did in WWE.
Precisely about TNA, beyond your single career, did you like being part of something like the Main Event Mafia? How do you remember the stable time in TNA?
Well, the Main Event Mafia was really special. I don't think we stayed together long enough to make it a really good faction. We probably had a good 6 to 8 month run. But I enjoyed that. It was pretty cool being the godfather of all those guys, being the leader, me being the youngest of them all. So, but I was the workhorse in the company. So they wanted to make me the leader, and I was happy to do it. I loved the Main Event Mafia. It was an awesome gang of guys.
Very cool. While you were working for TNA, you were out for WWE. You were out for 10 years. Is there a wrestler from the period you weren't there that you would have enjoyed working with?
Somebody in WWE that I didn't get to wrestle? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
CM Punk. Yeah, definitely.
I know.
He's a great talent, great on the mic, incredible in the ring. I would love to have a good program with CM Punk.
Yeah. I imagine that match, CM Punk versus Kurt Angle, I don't know, 2011 maybe, and that would have been a great match.
Oh, without a doubt. It would be a lot.
Great choice. Kurt, would you have another great wrestler that you never face one-on-one? Kurt, would you have liked to fight Daniel Bryan on your return to WWE? And another question, and about this, and if you were given the possibility in or out of WWE, would you consider facing Daniel Bryan right now in this moment?
No, I couldn't do it. The reason why I wouldn't do it, first of all, Daniel Bryan's in my top 3 of dream matches that I would have wanted. Him and Bret Hart are probably top 2. But Daniel, I just, in 2018, I knew that I was no longer the Kurt Angle that I used to be. I lost a step. I wasn't quite as good. My in-ring timing got slower, and if I can't put on the Kurt Angle performance that I did in my prime, I don't want to do it. So I watched myself in WWE wrestling when I came back, and it was very depressing to see my performance fall quite a bit. And if I can't put on the performance that I expect myself to, I won't do it. So could I wrestle right now? Yes. Would it be an incredible match? Probably not. I would probably need Daniel Bryan to carry me most of that match. And that's just me being honest.
Well, I wanted to ask you now, going back to WWE and precisely about your return to WWE in 2017, what are the differences you saw in the dressing room between your first step in the company and your return then more than 10 years later?
Yeah, there was a huge difference. I mean, it was a generation gap. There weren't much guys left from 2006 that were there 2017. Maybe Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. That was about it. So the whole locker room changed. There was a completely different atmosphere, and the guys were they were a lot healthier. They were a lot. They were, there was a better fitness wellness policy in WWE after 2006. it became better. They took care of the athletes better. They gave them more options to do different things. You know, like they had a doctor on call all the time, and they had a drug policy and a wellness policy, and you know, there were, you weren't, you know, you back in 2004, 2005, 2006, the drug policies and the wellness policies weren't there yet. So now it was a lot safer, and they took better care of the athletes. They fed them better. You had on-site training. You had a trainer there, a doctor. Everything was at your fingertips. So it was really easy just to go there and do your thing and go perform. And that was the difference I saw. It was very primitive in the early 2000s. But by like 2017, the company did an incredible job of making sure the athlete was first.
Kurt, would you be interested in working as a wrestling coach in WWE or amateur wrestling? Maybe not now, but in the future?
Maybe in the future, not right now. You know, I don't have any passion for coaching in either pro or amateur wrestling at this point in my life. But I think I would be interested down the road. So I have a lot of knowledge that I can extend to these athletes, and I would love to give them some advice. So eventually I would like to do that, but not right now.
I understand. The next thing I wanted to ask is that one of the things that make Kurt Angle so legendary is that you took your wrestling talent and you mixed it with the entertainment side of WWE that is very well known. Obviously, that's the name of the company. Who do you think that also did a good job combining these two, the entertainment side and the wrestling side?
Who is the most overall talented?
Yeah, I mean that.
Huh.
Besides you.
Besides me,
Yeah.
I think, you know, if we're talking, you mean recent right now, the rest
No,
of
all time.
Of all time?
All time.
Shawn Michaels is the greatest entertainer of all time. He had all the tools. His in-ring work, his promo skills, his timing, he was impeccable. He was my favorite guy to work with, and I have a lot of respect for Shawn.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's your match with Shawn in WrestleMania 21 is my favorite match of all time. I just wanted to get it in there. The next thing I wanted to ask you is that something I wanted to ask you before. Also about your return in 2017, Kurt. Of the new talents, who did you enjoy working the most? New talents you haven't worked previously.
I enjoy working with Chad Gable the most.
Oh.
I had a good match with him,
Yeah.
surprisingly, because I wasn't having that great of matches, and the company wasn't really utilizing me as a serious talent. I was doing more, you know, jobs for the company, and you know, it was just they didn't know what to do with me. I think the company looked at me as a liability because of my former painkiller problem and my broken neck issue. So I don't think Vince wanted to set me on fire and let me go out there and get a good title run. So, you know, I think that working with who are we talking about? Which guy?
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. Thank you. You know, working with Chad Gable, he's also an Olympic wrestler, and we had a lot in common. And our technique is very much identical. So I knew that we would have good chemistry together, and we did. We had a good 9-minute match, and I was really happy with it.
Kurt, precisely about another talent you face in your return to WWE and in your last run. How do you see the development? Apollo Crews, the current Intercontinental Champion, someone you face when you returned to WWE, and has been using some of your moves lately.
I enjoy working with Apollo. He's another great talent. I'm really happy with how they're utilizing him right now. I think they do an incredible job. It's about time they started pushing him, and he's done an incredible job. I'm really proud of him. And he was a lot of fun to work with. He's a great technician, a great athlete. One of the best athletes I got in the ring with, period.
Perfect. And as a SmackDown reference, since you had a lot of great times there, and former world champion too in the blue brand, what do you think about the current work of Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion? Have you seen some about the Roman Reigns now?
Roman's the best. A lot of fans, half the fans might not like him, half the fans do like him, but no doubt about it, he's one of the best wrestlers, overall entertainers in the company. What he's done and how he's improved, and when he turned heel, I think he should have been turned heel a long time ago, because Vince McMahon was pushing him as unbeatable. And I think that's what ticked off some of the fans, was this guy was, unbeatable. Nobody's going to be able to beat him. Indestructible is one of those things that fans don't relate to. They like vulnerability. So if they know you can lose at any time, they're more interested in that. So I think that Roman was protected so much, and that the fans turned on him. And for some reason, Vince wouldn't turn him heel for a long time. But I think he should have done it years ago. And I think that he would be babyface again by now. But he's done an incredible job as a heel. I love his work.
Great. Kurt, since you were one of the most successful competitors in amateur wrestling, did you ever receive an offer to fight in the UFC or MMA?
Yes, 3 different times. Once in 1997, before Dana White bought the company. It was a really bad offer. 10-fight deal for $150,000. That's $15,000 a fight. That wasn't going to do it for me. I didn't want to, crush my body for little money. But in 2003 or 2006, after I left WWE and joined TNA, I called Dana White and told him I'd like to fight, and he flew me out to Las Vegas, and we had a talk, and he told me that he would give me a 6-fight deal, and it was great money. And he said, you can't wrestle anymore. And I said, well, I just signed with TNA. I have to continue with this company because I just signed with them, and I don't want to, piss them off, I guess.
Yeah.
And Dana said, well, you can't fight and wrestle at the same time. So come back to me when you want to do it. So I came back in 2010, but I was too old. I for some reason, I just wanted to extend myself out there and see if Dana White was still interested, and he was. And but when I started training again, I was getting hurt very easily. So I knew I couldn't do it. I was past my prime, and it wasn't going to happen. So I did have 3 options, but I had to pass on all those. And for the most part, the main reason was I don't have any strength in my upper body because of my neck.
Yeah.
I broke my neck 5 different times, and the circulation down my arms is really bad. I can only lift, a third of the weight I used to. I can bench press 135 pounds for 5 reps. That's it. My upper body is totally shot. So there's no way I could have competed in UFC.
Understood. Well, Kurt, you're doing a podcast with Kurt Thompson called The Kurt Angle Show, which I watch, and it's very good. So if people want to watch it, I recommend it. Tell us a little bit about the show and where they can watch it.
Well, you can watch it at adfreeshows.com or wherever you get your podcasts. It's called The Kurt Angle Show. We've been doing it for about 3 months. We've had a lot of success. We're bringing on guests now. We just had Randy Orton. We're going to have Ken Shamrock. And down the road in about a month, we're going to have Edge as our guest. So we're lighting it up. We're going to do a really fantastic job. It's most of the show is me talking about my career and my stories of the mistakes I made, the accomplishments I've had, my ups and downs, and we're also bringing in guests, most likely once a month. So every 4 weeks there will be a new guest, and that's how we put our show together. And I'm very proud of the show. We've done an incredible job. I have a great team.
Tremendous. And the last thing, can you send a message to our Latin American fans and where they can follow you in social networks?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching the show today. You can follow me at the Real Kurt Angle on Instagram and Real Kurt Angle on Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, Kurt. It was a very good interview, and take care. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You have a good day.
Great. Thanks, Kurt.
Bye-bye.